Gentlemen, hope y'all doing well. When did it become a reality? I want to ask a question. When did it become a reality? You all might trade for with Patriots to get Matt. And also, does this trade take you out of the veteran trade market?
Well, it's interesting how the quarterbacks fell. People had talked about the whole quarterback group as a whole, whether it's first round, whatever. But as they started to slide, we kind of took steps back with them. We looked at going up in two several different times. There's just too much to get up there. But as the numbers stayed on the board, that allowed us to be patient and go back with those quarterbacks. And we're just very fortunate to have someone of Matt's talent sitting there in the third round.
Does this take you out of the veteran quarterback trade market?
Yeah, we came into this weekend with getting a quarterback in mind, and we did that. We accomplished that goal. We feel good about adding Matt to this group and with Sam and PJ, and that was our goal for the weekend.
Scott, what did you see in Matt Corral's game? I guess, what did you like about his game the most compared to some of the other quarterbacks who are still left on the board?
One of the things that really stood out, aside from the physical traits, was the competitiveness and the toughness of him. I mean, the guy took a pounding and kept getting up, and he does run the ball. And when he runs, he tries to run guys over, and he's going to have to learn he can't do that. But it does show his competitive nature. And then when it just comes to the physical traits, the quick release, the mobility, the ability to get out and run and throw on the run. He sees the field well. He processes quickly. So all those things really stood out to us. I don't know if the coach has his opinion on that.
Yeah, I think you look at guys who play at that level. This is a young man who's been a 5-star recruit, played at some of the best programs in California, came to Ole Miss, elevated them to levels that they haven't been at. Played in the SEC, played against decorated programs. I think, as Scott said, probably the quickest release you've seen in a quarterback in quite some time. Fearlessness with which he plays with. Jeff Levy, his offensive coordinator, who's now at Oklahoma, a guy that I know well, talked about his work ethic. Coming in at 6 a.m., staying till he was not there, till the end of the night, just constantly working at his game. And so, for a young developmental quarterback coming into this league, I think he's got all the physical tools. And he also seems to have the mental makeup. So, we're excited to begin to work with him.
Steve Reed, followed by Joe Person.
Hey guys, Scott, how close? Without talking about particular players, I guess you can't on other teams. But how close did you come to possibly making a trade for a veteran quarterback tonight?
I think there were a lot of discussions, and we explored all options, across the league, and we've done our homework. But I just can't, like you said, I can't talk about other players on other teams.
Hey, Scott, just to clarify on Jonathan's question, you didn't exactly say that you're definitely out of the veteran trade market now. Are you definitely out?
No, I never put an absolute on anything. We came into this weekend with the intention of adding a quarterback, and that's what we did. And I think we're really happy with the group we have, and we're going to go with this group.
And then I wanted to ask that you guys could both chime in on this, if you would, please. Matt has been very open about kind of struggling with some mental health and some alcoholism, has some of that. He has some off-the-field issues in his background. What made you confident or that is in the past and that he's in a good place?
I think the thing, Joe, obviously when we look at prospects, we look at there was a lot of guys that were drafted tonight that are not on our board because of character issues. Were drafted by other teams, and so I think we have a very high standard for character. We do learning evaluations, we do intelligence evaluations, we do psychological evaluations. So we do a lot of work. I think everyone in their life goes through things. and I think we do a really good job of trying to delineate between people who have an issue, a problem that can't be overcome, with people who are going through something in their lives. And so I don't know about you, but, I wouldn't, when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I certainly went through things. I really respect people who have been through things and are powerful enough and open enough to talk about them. And Matt is definitely one of those guys. So I'm not going to comment on any particular issue, but I feel good about who he is. But like any player coming into the National Football League, their lives are about to change. And so we have built a really good foundation here in terms of people that are here to help the players as they come in. I feel good about that. And, I know you guys have asked a lot of questions about, this, that. I just want to say one thing, and this is, I thought Scott tonight was unbelievably elite. Like, we had chances to trade up many times, and at the last minute, he his gut was not to do it and just to wait. He read the board perfectly, and this is a guy that we had a really high grade on. This is a guy that we flew to, we brought him here, we've talked to him, we FaceTimed him, we've done all kinds of things with him, and to think that we would have no picks, and end up with him in the third round is to go along with Icky is really well done by not just Scott but the entire scouting staff. It's really well done.
And if I could say something about Coach.
Oh, here we go. Don't you go breaking my heart now.
He was great during the process. He was on the phone. He was, he actually talked to Belichick during the trade process there. So he was great. He was mastering that. He held firm on our offer and really did a nice job with that.
David Newton, followed by Scott Fowler.
Ms. Kenny, for both of us, where did you have him ranked among the five quarterbacks you brought in, and what set him apart that made you feel like he was the one you want to go for?
I hope you understand, Dave. David, we would never talk about the ranking of that. In the first round we might, but as we get along, we don't want to disrespect anybody. I don't want some quarterback coming in here in a year like they said I was fifth. I'll just say this. Based upon the time spent, I hope that you get a feeling that we really saw a lot in Matt. For him to come here, for us to go there. We spent a lot of time with him. So he was ranked really high. He's a guy that we've had conversations with about taking in. We've had conversations with each other about taking in any round, and so to get him here to me is a win for the Panthers.
You guys had mentioned though that you had two quarterbacks that you would consider taking in the top 10. I'm assuming I don't want to assume. So is he one of those two, or did you have him with a first round or a second round grade?
We had him ranked fairly high. We were excited to get him and surprised to get him.
We would have taken him early.
Yeah.
We would have taken him high, but this is all a projection. Scott did a really good job of laying the board out in a way that made sense as we went through this whole thing.
And why does he? I know, Scott, you talked a while about bringing in a young quarterback to develop cost effectiveness too. Is that another reason why this is a better option for you than a veteran where you're going to pay bigger bucks?
Yeah, I've always believed in drafting and developing your guys. Obviously there is a market out there. You can go find guys, that are veterans, but we need a young guy that it's our own that we're going to develop and is the future of this team.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Matt and Scott, if you don't mind both chiming in on this, do you consider Matt Corral a developmental quarterback? And by that I mean, is he a candidate for starting on day one, or do you feel like Sam Darnold is your starting quarterback and he is a guy you're going to develop for the future?
So Scott, I know Ben talked a week or so ago and made a statement and then kind of retracted it, just out of respect for me, I should say that. But, if we go play tomorrow, Sam Darnold would be our quarterback. And, we just drafted Matt. The transition from college to the NFL is really hard. And over the last couple of years, guys trying to make that transition in the first year and having to play right away hasn't been real successful. When you look at the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, I mean, if you think about it, Scott, it's amazing this is the only position in sports where the best players are over the age of 35. Like, even in golf, the best players are 20, 22, 23. But in the National Football League, the quarterback position, you know, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they're 35, 38, 40. I don't even know. Mr. Brady's 44. Like, it's amazing because it's experience. And so I say all that to say that we will always be a competition-based place. Like, the best players will play, and that we will do our best to have no agendas. But in a perfect world, you know, Matt, coming from a dynamic, fun spread offense that he was in with Coach Kiffin, with Jeff Lebby, coming to the National Football League, the differences in the game, it's going to take some time. And so sometimes when you take those guys at 6, the pressure's so great to put them on the field that, you know, they can get ruined. I think this is the most amazing opportunity for a guy that we think has first-round talent, who has played at a high level, to come in here, grow his body, develop his body, learn under Sam, learn under PJ, two tremendous professional players, learn the system from the ground up with Ben. And whenever that time is ready, that he's ready to play, you know, he'll get his opportunity. And I'm still expecting Sam and PJ to show up, you know, on Monday with, you know, a great look in their eye, where they, you know, no one wants to give up their job in this league. So he's not walking in day one and he's a starter. Sam's our starter, but we will compete, and that's what one of the goals was. Hey, let's bring some competition in on the offensive line. Let's bring some competition in at the quarterback position, and let these guys go battle it out.
All right, we'll finish up with Will Pelagic.
Scott, you were very pointed in saying that you were not wanting to go into future drafts to trade in for something this year. What ultimately made you comfortable giving up that future pick for this one tonight?
Oh, we started looking at the quarterback position. You know, there's a lot of value in there, and we did need to add to it this weekend, and it became very apparent. I think we did not want to move 1 and 2. We absolutely did not want to move. That's why we were trying to be so patient, not to give those up in the future. And a 3, you can recoup. A 1 and 2, you're really hitting from behind. That's hard to do. So I thought as a group, all of our scouts and coach and Mr. Tepper did a nice job of staying firm and not dipping into 1 or 2.
And Matt, if I may, what's an anecdote from your time visiting with Matt, whether it's a trait, whether it's a story, something that stood out to you that made you convinced that this was the right guy for you guys?
Oh, man. You know, I think when we went to Pro Day, what's happening in Pro Days now is the quarterbacks have to kind of wait until the network are ready for them to throw. And there was some confusion, and they needed him to throw to the running backs. And here's this kid getting ready. You know, he's coming off a foot injury. He's been throwing for about a week. He's trying to save his arm. And his teammates, his running backs, need him to throw drills to him. And he goes over and starts throwing. And like even some of us were like, what's he doing? Like, you know, poor kid. And his trainer's like, don't throw. And he's like, no, I'm going to throw to my guys. You know, I think you go back to the bowl game, Will, and you watch when he gets hurt, and you watch every single guy on that field when he comes back out onto the field. I'm talking about trainers. I'm talking about running backs. I'm talking about D linemen. They all come over to him. One of the benefits in my life is, you know, when I go into some of these schools, there's kids that I recruited. You know, I sat in their houses, I talked to them, and I have a chance to talk to them. And I had a chance at Ole Miss to talk to some kids that I recruited, and there's not one of them that wouldn't say, hey, your whole team's going to love them. And that's a big part of this position. You know, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of accolades, and every guy on the team has to believe that, you know, the quarterback wants to put them first, and he did that at Ole Miss. He did it in small ways at Pro Day, throwing to the running backs, but you see how much love those guys pour out towards him. So we're going to bring him along slow. We're going to train him from the ground up. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to do, but I am unbelievably fired up to get Icky yesterday, have him show up today, and then to have Matt Corral today. Shoot, I can't wait for tomorrow. Kenny Chesney in this. What could be better than Charlotte?